Mr. Hegseth, are you attracted to obese Hawaiian women with a below normal IQ?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, are you aware that I used the potty all by myself today?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, you seem to be pretty fertile. If confirmed, would you commit to putting a baby in me?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, are you saying under oath that you refuse to impregnate a portly Hawaiian retarded woman, even if she can use the potty all by herself? Mr. Hegseth.
Yes, or no, you should support our veterans organizations that will help our veterans get every damn thing that they deserve because they signed on the dotted line to keep us just like our veterans organizations
really what it was like.
that will help our veterans
Really,
get every damn thing that
really,
they deserve
really,
because
really
they
accurate.
signed on the dotted line.
Ah! What's going on, everybody? Good to see you all tonight. Hope you are well. Welcome to the ACE Report. We are going to cover today's biggest news, which is the Hegseth confirmation hearings, which was wild and got all kinds of fun clips for you from that. Hopefully you got a nice little teaser from where we just went. And then we're going to cover at the end some other news of the day, including what's going on with DJT and this whole GTI merger thing, what to think of it, and what, yeah. Anyways, we'll get there when we get there, but the Hegseth nomination is where we got to start because this is the most important thing going on in our country right now. Absolutely wild. Hegseth was, the Democrats went nuts on him. It was, it's just, you know, you feel bad for the guy, but you knew it was coming because they hate him. They're so threatened by him. It was crazy. they again, just so you guys know, like this is not inaccurate. Really not. There's a reason why I did the thumbnail the way I did because, wow. But it was also very encouraging because he handled himself well. Republicans did well. So I wanna go through this. There was just so much good stuff, and he's gonna get nominated. I'm gonna tell you right now, or he's gonna get confirmed. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute here, and I'm gonna also show you some stuff that should get you very excited for what's to come for just more of what Trump's bringing with him. Hegseth is going to revamp the Defense Department in amazing ways, bring pride back to our military, and I'm so here for it. So first, though, let me say hey to everybody who showed up tonight and made it. Wago Waco, I like it. Wago Waco. What's going on? Good to see you. Cass Sink, what's up? Danny Trace, Shogun Mock, yeah, Ing, yeah, Bird. I love it. Mario, what's up? CJ Yukon, Troy, Just Mike, Troy Man, BN Pro, Drew Savala, Eric Everett, Candace Morrison, Pat Shigoya, Roger Sonawa, Andy Brewer, Kim Wiley, Hero at Large, The One, What It Do, Scott Volkovich, Roger, ESK, John Cresson, who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody? No, Joke Scarpazza, Hero at Large, and that's everybody. Hobbs is here. Mullin had a great speech, Shogun. You're absolutely right. And we're going to play some of that tonight because I think it's well worth covering. What's up, Country Computers? By the way, the chat, I said it tonight, to subscribers only, and I might be doing this more often. I'm testing it tonight because it keeps out bots, which is wonderful, and that'll keep down any troll action. Which when I'm going through these nominations, you better believe some of them will show up, and B, it'll encourage people to subscribe if you're a part of the channel and you want to be involved. We welcome it. I love part of my show is I don't want to just be the one talking all the time. I do try to have guests on. I have some planned coming up, and that's going to pick up even more because I don't like to be the only voice on here. But I also like to make you guys a part of the show. I like to bring in your comments, especially the good ones, You guys make me laugh. You guys teach me things. We learn together, and that's how it should be. The community here is amazing. And so, listen, go ahead and subscribe and be a part of the community and get in the chat, because this is one show that I always plan to have the community be a big part of it. No matter how big this thing gets, wherever we go, from with my first 5 subscribers to now over 5,000, chat will always be a part of it. So go ahead and subscribe and jump in the chat. Thank you. Speak freely. Don't forget to like and share. Let's grow this thing. Okay. Let's start with the good. So Hegseth today was, he was grilled, man. I mean, they went after him for everything. They brought up every old allegation, dragged his name through the mud. But the Republicans surprised me, and forgive me, I'm a little dry. The Republicans surprised me, and this is why. Many of them were very skeptical to start when he got nominated. And I always thought he was going to be going to get through one way, shape, or form, especially after Matt Gaetz left. I figured that was their sacrificial lamb. And with Hegseth, I had a feeling, though, they were still going to have to fight, but they were going to win the fight. But I thought the Republicans were still going to come in more skeptical. And I was shocked to see that the Republicans actually really seemed excited about Hegseth. And the Democrats didn't do themselves any favors by being such, I mean, I'm just going to say the word, sorry, if you got kids, earmuffs, total assholes, okay? They were horrible. They were horrible to this man. And I think it galvanized the Republicans to be like, screw you guys, this is our guy. And anyways, so he got a lot of friendly exchanges from the Republicans, which I did not see coming. And it also shows, to his credit, that he did the rounds. He made the rounds by going to each Republican senator, meeting with them, which is really funny. The Democrats were really pissed he didn't meet with them, but what was the point? Why just waste his time? But he made the rounds with the Republican senators, and MAGA, when we went after Joni Ernst for being so hard on him a couple months ago, I think that was a wake-up call, which gives me a lot of hope that this Senate, even though it's got some rhinos in it, they are scared of us. So anyways, let's listen to this exchange with Kevin Cramer, because this is the kind of stuff that he is willing to put out there, and it's very exciting.
How many other patriots, how many other people of conscience? We haven't even talked about COVID.
Sorry, the volume is not very good on this one, but we will try anyways. Let me restart it.
How many other patriots, how many other people of conscience? We haven't even talked about COVID and the tens of thousands of service members who were kicked out because of an experimental vaccine. In President Trump's Defense Department, they will be apologized to. They will be reinstituted with pay and rank. Things like focusing on extremism, Senator, have created a climate inside our ranks that feel political when it hasn't ever been political. Those are the types of things that are going to change. And Senator Sullivan, you mentioned, I
apologize for the volume on that. That's a pretty low clip, but you could hear what he's saying is he's vowing to reinstate people pushed out because of the vaccine, be reinstated with pay. This is a big deal. All right, so this is just one thing. I got plenty more to show you, but this is the kind of stuff that should get you excited. This is the kind of stuff that says justice is coming and repayment is coming to many people who were screwed over. This is going to be a whole new regime in so many ways, and the fact that Hegseth is out there saying this and he still has all the Republicans galvanizing around him, even the Rhino Republicans, it just shows you that real change is coming this time. This is not, in my opinion, going to be a disappointing 4 years. It's not. I think this is just more proof that we're going to get a 4-year run that just is going to blow some minds. Let's see. What's up, Craig? Missing XRP, right? We'll get there. Drew, did I see Newscom videos circulating of him slipping up, saying they were preparing for the fire? No, I didn't. Share that with me if you can. MAGA turned little Joni Ernst into Pete's handmaiden. That is very true. That is very true. Okay. Another clip I want to share, and just a minute of it, but basically here, actually this is kind of long, so, and already I'm going a little longer I thought on this. So, but he says you have to tear out DEI and CRT route and branch out of institutions. So bold exclamation point statements, beautiful stuff, exactly what we want to hear, and kind of shocking again in a confirmation hearing. Now this is where it's got fun. All right, I know this is what you guys showed up for. You wanted to see the WWE fights going on. Well, here's where it starts. Pocahontas had something to say.
You're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. But you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
I would want to see what the policy.
Real quick, does anybody say sauce for the goose? I've never heard that said before. Sauce for the goose and for the gander? What? I've heard what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but sauce? Does this woman even know what she's saying?
I'll bet you would.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your hard work and your committee's hard work, Mr. Chairman. This has gone well. I'd like to submit this letter, topic Conduct at Vets for Freedom for Hegseth. I'd like to submit that for the record, please.
Without objection.
Mr. Hegseth.
Boom. Once you get into the mocking game, once you start mocking them, that you know they're losing. By the way, here's a great picture of Pocahontas with her full headdress on. Got to represent your people. What are you doing, Elizabeth? Be proud. Wear that headdress. Get that out there. But she was awful, and somebody put this together, which just made me very happy.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. But you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one.
Little curb for you. I don't know if I got any curb fans in the audience, but just brilliant stuff. But so Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, I'm not even going to play Hirono's stuff because she was so awful. It was so, like just trying to, it was nonstop. The women really went nuts. What was the other one's name? Somebody said it in here in the chat. There was 4 that went crazy on him. It was Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, who looks like she's aged 50 years in the last 3. Hirono, and what was the other one? Somebody said it. I'm looking in the chat real quick because she was Tammy Duckworth. Oh my God, it was so terrible. So they all were just squawking at him, screaming at him, and it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen from a Democrat in a hearing like this, which is saying a lot because they are usually pretty embarrassing, but just nonstop hammering the same stuff. You said this about women. You said this about women. Over and over the same thing. He explains himself. The next one does the same exact thing. They just kept going after him on this. And listen, Hegseth has said some stuff. Kane was bad too on the male side. But they were, what's the word I'm looking for? They were regurgitating this stuff nonstop. He said stuff about women. He said that they shouldn't be in combat. And listen, we can all debate that. That's an honest opinion to have. Women should be in the military. I wholeheartedly endorse that. I think most would. They offer a lot. Women, we love you. Katie Cat in here is in the military. It's amazing. She's awesome. But there's an honest debate to be had, especially with standards, physical standards. And that's all Pete was out there saying. He repeats it over and over again. And they're just trying to hammer him and trying to paint him to be this total misogynist. And yes, he's had stuff in the past. And listen, Pete, I even thought at one point he got a little flustered because they kept hammering it. And they were basically trying to make him look like he was a wife abuser, all this stuff. No, he was a philanderer. He cheated on, I think, his first 2 wives. And then he converted. He met Jesus 6 years ago, and he's been a very different man ever since. Everybody validates that. Everybody stands by that. But yeah, he's got some stuff. He's a 44-year-old dude who's in the military who liked to drink and party. And trust me, that'll get you some stories. But it doesn't matter for this. This is the same party. Tim Kaine's wife, I saw a tweet from Tim Kaine from 2015 that was like, his wife wants to sleep with other people and he doesn't like, it's not about her, it's about me. Or he said something really weird, which is basically like affirming it. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, Tim Kaine, you're the one going after him about marriage issues. I mean, these people are the most awful people. They're all Bill Clinton lovers, you know, Epstein Island. It's just, it's revolting, you know. It's revolting to see them try to play the morality police. And it just went on and on from there. There was so many things that God brought up. And I'm just going to because this speech, and I'm actually going to play this whole one because this is fantastic. But so Senator Markwayne Mullin came out, and he almost was skipped, but he wasn't about to. He decided not to be, and he decided to, instead of ask questions, he was going to basically give some thoughts. And he exposed what was going on in the most awesome way that I'm not even going to try to explain it. I'm going to show you it because it's well worth the watch. So this is a little bit of a long clip. It's 3.5 minutes, but it's very good, worth seeing. So here we go.
You know, there's a lot of talk going about talking about qualifications and then about us hiring him if we are the board. But there's a lot of senators here I wouldn't have on my board because there is no qualifications except your age, and you got to be living in the state and you're a citizen of the United States to be a senator. Other than the fact we got to convince a lot of people to vote for us. And then when we start talking about qualifications for if you're qualified for it, could the chairman tell me what the qualifications are for the Secretary of Defense? Mr. Chairman, could you tell me what the qualifications are for the Secretary of Defense?
I'd be happy
I'll read it.
for you to do that. Yeah.
Let me read it for you because I Googled
I was getting some advice from my second in command.
Yeah, but I'm just making a point because there's a lot about qualifications. And I think it's so hypocritical of senators, especially on the other side of the aisle, be talking about his qualifications, not being able to lead the secretary or be the Secretary of Defense, and yet your qualifications aren't any better. You guys aren't any more qualified to be the senator than I'm qualified to be the senator.
Oh man, real quick, these people are so prideful, these senators, and for him to be looking at them, because one of the things they were knocking Hegseth on is that he at his largest management, he oversaw about 200 employees, and they were saying like, well, what qualifies you then to run this $900 billion organization with 3 million employees? As if they've done any of that. As if, Barack Obama was a community organizer. Are you kidding me? And he was qualified to be president of the United States. So just them getting called on their hypocrisy, though, was one of the greatest things. And one of the reasons this Mullin speech was so satisfying is because most of the other Republicans would let the Democrats rant and just move on to their stuff and barely acknowledge it. And he tears them a new one, and it was so refreshing. But if you watched it, you understood the timing, why it was so brilliant. But anyways, let's continue listening.
Senator, except we're lucky enough to be here. But let me read you what the qualifications of the Secretary of Defense is, because I Googled it, and went through a lot of different sites, and really it's hard to see. But in general, the U.S. Secretary of Defense position is filled by a civilian. That's it. If you have served in the U.S. Army Forces and have been in the service for, you have to be retired for at least 7 years, and Congress can weigh that. And then there's questions that the senator from Massachusetts brought up about serving on a board inside the military industry, and yet your own secretary that you all voted for, Secretary of Austin, we had to vote on a waiver because he stepped off the board of Raytheon.
Oh, snap. So Elizabeth Warren was grilling Hegseth over the fact that he wanted to ban himself from serving as a defense contractor after serving as secretary, even though he didn't say anything. He just said, we'll see what the policy is, because he wants to ban generals from being able to, for 8 years, to go into defense contracting after they've retired, which makes perfect sense. I mean, we got to get out all this corruption in government, and that's one of the ways to do it. But then he brings up the fact that Lloyd Austin, our current defense secretary with Biden, was on the board of Raytheon at the time he was being considered for defense secretary. Just a major boom moment. I love it. I love it. Can't get enough of this.
But I guess that's okay, because that's a Democrat Secretary of Defense. But we so quickly forget about that. And then Senator Kaine, or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Ooh. Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down?
Yeah, not just divorces for cheating, but how about the fact that several of them have mistresses? It's well known. They sleep with their staff. I mean, these people are filthy. They are the filthiest people. And it's not just Democrats. It's Republicans too, many of them. And so, again, just to hear them get called out is, he goes.
No, but it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye. We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. And Jennifer, thank you for loving him through that mistake. Because the only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too. I have changed, but I'm not perfect. But I found somebody that thought I was perfect. And for whatever reason, you love Pete, and I don't know why. But just like our Lord and Savior forgave me, my wife's had to forgive me more than once too, and I'm sure you've had to forgive him too. And so thank you. You know, there's a lot.
It's pretty incredible. Not only is his speech incredible, it really was, but what also kind of floored me is the openness, speaking about faith on the Republican side. It's becoming cool to be a Christian again, which is awesome. Our country has needed this for a long time. So it's becoming mainstream again, is what I should say. So really cool to see that as well. But just the calling out of the hypocrisy, it made me giddy inside. I actually, while I was listening to it, I felt myself just getting fired up. I was on my walk on a break, and I felt myself just walk a little faster because it was just got me pumped up. But it's awesome to see. Like, this is my first experience with Senator Mullin. I've heard his name before, but I'd never seen him. He's from Oklahoma. It's like not a big state. Never knew who this guy was before. Now he's got a name. He's got a name to himself. This was a moment, and he's somebody to watch. But the fact you can tell this guy is MAGA. And so this is who we've been putting in, guys. Even when we might not have known it, even when we didn't see it, this movement we're part of that spreads 70 plus million people in our nation, maybe even 100 million people in our nation at this point. This movement, this is what's happening. We've been slowly but surely draining the swamp. It took longer than we thought, but it's happening. We're getting them in there. We're getting people like Mullin in there. And the other thing is that this impact of getting these people in there, it's starting to change some of the other Republicans, which this was by far the best speech of all of them. But you saw with the Tuberville thing, he's joking, he's mocking Warren. Like, this is becoming a thing now. This whole pretending we're all buddies thing, this whole pretending like it's all one big club and we're just gonna, it's changing because the Republicans know they have no choice. They have to be on the side of the people or they're done. Trump has completely changed the game. We didn't see stuff like this 10 years ago. At least we didn't from people on the committees. We might have seen it from lower ranked members who were firebrands who got in. And you know what? A lot of them left pretty quick because you didn't stay in the Senate or House unless you fell in line. Now it's the opposite. Now the firebrands, the MAGA ones, they're the ones staying. And this is great because it's slowly creating a purge, which is leading to John Thune after the hearing saying this.
Hearing from senators now that the Hegseth hearing is done.
The expectation that he will get confirmed. In fact, I just asked Senator John Thune, who's the Republican leader, the majority leader, decides the schedule of the United States Senate. I asked him about Hegseth's nomination. Thune has not said a ton about this nomination. I said, does he have any concerns about these allegations of sexual assault that Hegseth has denied but came up in today's hearing, about these allegations of misconduct and the like? And he indicated he does not. According to Thune, he said that Hegseth acquitted himself extremely well and that he plans to move very quickly on this nomination, and is moving quickly.
John Thune says Hegseth handled himself very well, acquitted himself well, and he plans to move quickly on the nomination. This is huge. This was, well, let this finish.
We expect the Senate Armed Services Committee to have a vote as soon as Monday, Inauguration Day. That is according to the chairman of the committee, Roger Wicker, who told me that he believes that he'll get the support of all Republicans and be able to push this through.
Hearing from senators now.
Monday, they could vote on Hegseth the same, like right after the inauguration. That's massive. That's massive. That shows you how confident the Republicans are of what just happened and how united they are in this. On Polymarket, it went up to 90% or 88% that he's going to be confirmed. That basically means it's a shoo-in now. This is massive. Look at how it jumped during the hearing. So what's this tell you? This was their one, guys. This was their one that they were really sure they were going to be able to stop. They thought they could stop Hegseth and maybe get some momentum from there. That's why, tomorrow there's like 6 hearings going on, and same Thursday. They're just bundling them all up after this. But the Hegseth one, they wanted it to just be by itself. They wanted to make a show out of it. They wanted to show their power. They wanted to tear him down, get some momentum, have him limp out of there, beaten and bloodied, and with no shot of being confirmed, and then they could roll it over. But Hegseth, if they get him through, good luck stopping anybody else. If the Republicans are united enough to get Hegseth through, unless somebody absolutely bombs their hearing, which I highly doubt it. These are very competent people Trump has nominated. If Hegseth gets through, they're all getting through, which that means Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, RFK Jr., Tulsi. I mean, it's going to get fun. Bessent is Secretary, Treasury. I mean, this is going to be really, really fun. And it was just kind of shocking how fast they made this work. CBT Training says Hirono's literally the dumbest human in history. She should be on The View. I mean, I guess that would be the only people dumber, right? Does Hirono have writers? I don't know. I mean, The speech was pretty good.
Are you attracted to obese Hawaiian women with a below normal IQ?
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, are you aware that I used the potty all by myself today?
I gotta love AI. I'm sorry.
No, Senator.
Mr. Hegseth, you seem to be pretty fertile. If confirmed, would you commit to putting a baby in me?
No, Senator.
Rano, she's terrible. You think Mullin could look like my brother Sergio? That's funny. Everett Trevor asks, has anyone seen Tim Kaine and Pennywise in the same room? Tim Kaine is something else, man. Let's see if I can pull up a picture of him. He looked awful in the yeah, here he is. He does kind of have Pennywise vibes, huh?
The second wife and cheat on the mother of a child.
Look at that. Look at that hairline. That's special right there. That's special. This is what happens when you go all in on being a Democrat and the beta male starts taking over. That's, this is the beta male hairline. It's a specialty. It's from all that testosterone just leaching out of your body. It's, it's what happens. Alan Kretz, the senator from Oklahoma, called out the Teamster Union boss O'Brien in a fight with Bernie Sanders' chair. I don't remember that, Alan. I don't remember that one. Dwayne says, people in Hawaii finally waking up. That's awesome. That's beautiful. I love that. Hopefully the rhinos were taking notes and reading the room. I think that is proven that a lot of the rhinos are moving over. They're feeling that pressure and they're voting. We're going to find out Monday. I mean, he said they might vote on Monday. So we have 3 we're watching for, because I'm pretty sure Joni Ernst has gotten the message. She's all in. It's Murkowski, Collins, and Mitch McConnell. And some tells me, so even with them, if we get 50 others, J.D. Vance will break the tie. He'll be confirmed. So it's those 3 are the most likely to vote no in the Republicans, and then the 4th is a question mark. Who would it be? This hearing, especially with how strongly Joni Ernst came out, this hearing told me that I don't think we're going to have to worry. I think it's going to be 51 or 52, and it's going to be a clean move. I really do. And maybe, just maybe, they get somebody like Fetterman to move over as well, because of how well the hearing went. Fetterman is starting to look like he might become like a Joe Manchin, where he's still Democrat, but on these big issue things where there's supposed to be bipartisanship, this is the kind of stuff where the common sense stuff, we might see him be a Manchin and vote with Republicans a lot. So I'm sorry, Sonoan, I'm not seeing your pregnant jokes. Jack says, all right, better late than never. Got caught up. Ace, I said, put pride back in the military with the flag. No. Wrong pride, sir. We're taking pride back. We're taking back the pride. Pete needed to do the "you can't handle the truth" speech. Yeah, he had to be careful. I think if he'd unleashed some bangers like that, it wouldn't have looked good. He did his part very well. He answered. He kept his cool, his composure, and had an answer for everything. That was, there was a couple things he kind of skirted, but it wasn't the kind of stuff you worry about. It was more just like when they were really trying to tear into him to get a gotcha moment, he skirted it very well. It was a little annoying sometimes, but Everett Trumper says, in my honest opinion, the ones left who could be in danger are Cash and Kennedy, but I think they'll get in. Yeah, I would say the one in the most danger left, if Hegseth gets through, is Cash. And the only reason is because they are flat out terrified of him. However, there's been a lot less fight over Cash than there was over Hegseth, which makes me think that he'll be a shoo-in. Kennedy, there's a lot of talk about Kennedy not getting in, but I think it's all BS. I think it's all BS. The truth is like they're saying that Republicans won't vote for him because he's pro-choice. Guys, he'll have nothing to do with policy over abortion. And these senators know that. They know it. It's just the media trying to drum up some drama. I bet Kennedy gets 60 to 70 votes. He's going to pull some Democrats over as well. That's just how it's going to work. I don't think Kennedy is going to be even close. Especially, Kennedy is one of the most well-spoken men that is alive right now. He knows his stuff. He's going to have a hearing that's just going to blow people away. And the Democrats, some of them will go after him, but others will be much more respectful to him because he's a Kennedy. I don't see Kennedy having any issues getting in at all. So, yeah, Everett Trevor says, Joni made a believer out of all of them. Yep. Truther says, I think this market needs a serious pullback, then go in the golden age. Yep, well, I'll talk about that in just a minute here. Roblox says, hopefully inflation doesn't come in crazy tomorrow. I feel like prices are going up. My grocery budget been missing the last 3 months. PPI was up high today, but it was less than expected. So the market didn't move too much on that. CPI tomorrow will be interesting. Inflation is definitely going up. The rate cuts have caused inflation to go up. So, yep, Fetterman just went to Mar-a-Lago. Samuel Martin says, I think they fudged all the data the last few months and might dump a bunch of bad data on Trump in the coming months. You better believe they will. Well, what's going to happen is Biden's people are going to be gone. And so the orders to fake the numbers are going to be gone with him. And what will happen is we'll get the real numbers once Trump's in. And I told you guys, 2 weeks ago, that this will be the last month of good jobs numbers, in my opinion. And what happened? We got a roaring jobs report. And what Biden do? He goes out there and tweets, I have left Trump one of the greatest economies of all time. Let's see if he can take care of it. That's a signal. That's a signal that it's going bad on your term, buddy. And they did that on purpose. They absolutely, the way it was worded was done on purpose. And so they're coming for him. Let me finish this and then we'll get to the economy. All right, so that's Hegseth, and because Hegseth is getting through, I'm 90% sure of it now, 95% sure. It's, in my opinion, it means they'll all get through. All right, and again, if you have the time and you want some great entertainment, you might get mad a few times, but overall the hearing was great entertainment. And I recommend, if you have the time, watch as many of these as you can. The hearings are very interesting. It gives you incredible insight into these senators and how things work and how they're thinking, and also what our nominees, what Trump's cabinet is going to be like. All right, I had to talk about this real quick. So Trump today, this is actually a major announcement. I think most MAGA gets it, but I don't think the mainstream media is carrying this, so you might not have heard of this. But today, Trump announced he's going to create something called the External Revenue Service, which is a service that's going to go after revenue from other countries that were owed. And so let me read Trump's post. He says, for far too long, we relied on taxing our great people using the IRS. Very interesting first line, by the way. For far too long, we relied on taxing our great people. Why would you start like that? Unless he's seeding everything to get away from the IRS, which could be very interesting. He says, through soft and pathetically weak trade agreements, American economy has delivered growth and prosperity to the world while taxing ourselves. It's time for that to change. I am today announcing I will create the External Revenue Service to collect tariffs, duties, and all revenue from foreign sources. We'll begin charging those that make money off of us with trade, and they will start paying finally their fair share. January 20th will be the birthday of the External Revenue Service. Make America great again. This is huge. This is huge. So what he did right here is he did a compare and contrast. If the External Recovery Service was meant to just work alongside the IRS forever, you don't do a compare and contrast. You simply announce, we're going after foreign money that's owed to us. We are going after a fair share. That is not what Trump does. He compares and contrasts to show us how unfair the IRS is and how much better things will be when we get back to another system. And that's why you do a compare and contrast. There's a lot of people out there who are very skeptical that Trump might go after the Federal Reserve, the income tax, all that. But listen, he spent a lot of his campaign making promises of taxes going away. He never actually said the income tax, although he said he's interested in looking at it. But he said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. It was no taxes here, no taxes. And what he was doing is when you do something like that, you're actually chipping away. I get a win here, I get an easy one here. I start chipping away, and little by little it becomes harder and harder to enforce the entire tax system. It gets easier and easier to keep cutting away. One of the reasons tax cuts work, when it's one of the only victories Republicans have had before Trump, going back to Reagan and Bush 2. One of the only things they actually did well, not Reagan did more, but one of the only things Bush did well was get us tax cuts. And one of the things is when you get a tax cut in, especially in the modern age where we're more educated and we have more access to information and we're paying more attention, it's easier to pay attention because of it. Once you get something like that through, well, even if it's not permanent, quote unquote, they do these like 5-year tax cuts, 7 years. Well, it brings up the battle like we're about to be in this year over Trump's tax cuts expiring. Good luck if you're the Democrats convincing the people that their taxes should get raised. Once this happens, it's motion that cannot be stopped. And Americans just want our taxes lower and lower and lower. For God's sake, we were founded on the idea of no more taxes. I mean, you know, the Boston Tea Party. We hate taxes. We hate being taxed. And once upon a time, when the Federal Reserve first came into motion, they were able to pass the progressive tax system we currently have. And it was very restrictive. In fact, at the very top, the top 1% were taxed at 90%. It was insane. That has been progressively being chipped down ever since. Listen, rich people are mostly successful. You're never going to hear me go after rich people, even though I'm not one of them, because that's their money, whatever. Unless they did it through cheating or corruption, but all that can be remedied through other laws. We don't need taxes to do it. We should be rewarding people for what they earn. And then that money sprinkles in the economy and we all rise up. That is proven at this point. It's the old Reagan trickle-down economics. Well, guess what? It works. Reagan created for us a 20-year boom. It was only crushed by more government. But Trump is chipping away. He's chipping away, and this is another big part of that. Getting us back to a system where there's no income tax. And this is what I'm praying he's really going for. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult to do. But the way you do it is you keep creating pressure on it and you keep moving the goalposts until you can finally rip that Band-Aid off. You got people seeing everything else is working. The tariffs are working. Collecting from others is working. Building a more efficient government is working. You start proving that over and over again, and then you get to the point where you can do the big thing. Or you weaken the IRS so much, you weaken that tax system so much that it falls apart on its own. That's the other way you do it. So, this is exciting, and this is a huge, absolutely huge announcement he made today. Roblox. Why are we talking about Roblox? What is happening? Trump garbage truck. Oh, at the inauguration, yeah. Pauly V, I haven't heard anything about Finger Financial Report. Sorry. Ever Trumper says, just when I thought I could not love the man more, he comes out with the External Revenue Service. I know, I love it. I agree, Todd. He should go after the Fed. I think it could happen. Let's talk about that for a second. We are about to... Actually, I have a post I want to pull up. I wasn't going to do this, but now I'm going to bring it up because I actually do want to talk about it. The external revenue thing has more to do with this than I was thinking at the time. So let me bring this up, because I think there's something here. If I just give me 1 second, I know exactly where to look. It's just... All right, here we are. Talking about the Fed. All right. So, right here. So this is what's happened the last few years. And we've been in inflation, which is... We've been in an inflationary cycle which caused rate hikes, and then our dollar has been getting very strong. There's a lot of reasons for this. For one, we've switched the way we do our financial system from a LIBOR to SOFR. That's a whole nother thing I don't have time to explain. But that took a lot of the power out of London, and it really hurt the euro, okay, the European Union. It's bringing back a lot of dollars back to the States, and it's hurting other systems, currencies that relied on us way more than it hurts us. It's one of the reasons America has stayed much stronger than the other countries, because of what we've been doing monetary policy. As bad as things are here, it's way worse everywhere else. And this is one of the reasons we've been strengthening our dollar, while despite the fact we're still running up debt and inflation. And this is a theory out there, which I think might have something to it. And he tweets, "I don't think people fully appreciate the genius of it. They cause a massive inflationary cycle as cover for the quickest rate raises in 50 years. Combined with AI and dollar shortage, it will cause a deflationary depression, allowing them to print and take treasuries out of circulation. If everyone is selling U.S. securities at fire sale prices, U.S. will simply buy up all its own debt with skyrocketing dollar. You can't default on your debt if you own most of it, thus resetting the cycle of U.S. debt being the most stable and valuable in the world." Is this a possibility under Trump? Yes. And here's another part of it. So what he's theorizing is that we've strengthened our dollar to grow, to make it so we can repurchase our debt and basically owe nobody. And basically we could forgive our own debt at that point. It's kind of a genius way to get out of debt and reset the whole system. And you know what it'd also do? It would remove any reason to have the Fed still. Now, here's the next interesting part of this. Scott Bessent is replacing Janet Yellen in the Treasury as January 20th. This is Trump's Treasury Secretary. Bessent, I've looked into him, so I don't believe he actually is a Soros guy, even though he worked there. Okay, it is possible. Some of these people cross over. It's like Tulsi Gabbard with the World Economic Forum. Sometimes they have ties. You know what? When you're at that level, sometimes you just sprinkle in. This is not me saying Bessent's a bad guy. I actually think he's going to be very good. But here's his career. Soros Fund Management. He was instrumental in collapsing the British pound in 92, 97 Asian financial crisis, Japanese yen in 2013. He says this is at the final stage of the Great Reset. He doesn't mean, or maybe he does, the Great Reset for the bad guys. But listen, I'm telling you, I believe we're going to get a great reset of our financial system that's needed. And because Trump's the one in, we're going to rebuild it in a good way. Soros is the king of crushing currencies. We're not doing that. Our currency is soaring. The dollar is as strong now as it's been in a very long time. And it's continuing to get stronger on the pace we're at. If we do this, buy back our own debt, reset our system, forgive our own debt, get us ourselves out of it, this could get wild really fast and could completely replace everything. And Trump might have picked Bessent for this specific reason, because he knows exactly how to pull all this off. And it's starting to, in my opinion, it's starting to look like that might be the way it happens. So if you want to get rid of the Fed, the pieces might actually be in place to do that, which is very interesting. And then there's this. Jamie Dimon Says preparing to leave J.P. Morgan because he'll lead the Treasury after the Federal Reserve is abolished. In a 1929 class, people will be so outraged when Powell's term ends May 2026, it will no longer exist, bringing control under the Treasury. So we're not the only ones thinking about this. So this could be, we might actually see this, and it could happen. Now, if it happens, and even people like David Hunter, who's nothing about the Federal Reserve stuff, even people like David Hunter are calling for a global crash this year, financial crash, systemic crash. It's very possible that it's all just coming together. So, I mean, I can't predict anything. I'm not telling you guys this will happen, but I am saying it definitely looks like there's a path. And I'm telling you, Trump's, in my opinion, the most important things he needs to do to save our country going forward is fix our elections and get them to one day again, and to fix the border. If he does those two things, there's hope for the future no matter what. The other things, though, is that I don't think Trump's just here to barely help us survive by just doing one or two things like that. I think Trump's here to create generational change in a very fast time. And this could happen. We could see the end of the Fed, income tax, all happen under this Trump 4 years. We're definitely going to get election reform. I believe it with all my heart. We're going to get the border cleaned up. The other thing is the corruption cleanup. I believe exposure, corruption, all that. We're cleaning out the political class. But we might be cleaning out the political class and the financial class. And with what's going on in the Diddy cases, Epstein, Hollywood, the fires, I think we might also clean out the entertainment class, which that would completely reset our culture. So this is pretty exciting stuff, guys, and it's going to mean that there's a lot of stuff to talk about for the next few years. So, you better believe it. I'm not going anywhere. Yes, get rid of property tax as well. I'd love that. Everett Trumper says, one of the things to remember about Greenland, Canada as a state, and others, is that after talking six big things, nothing seems outlandish. There's a method to his madness. Yeah, it's called the Big Ask. I agree. What isn't possible, right? US Whoa, what's up, buddy? Who will be Secret Service Director? Bongino? Bongino hasn't been named. I don't know if anybody's been named. So we'll see what happens there. So now it says debt forgiveness, get rid of income taxes, fix the stock market. Seems going to me. Yeah, I mean, it could be, he could fix all these issues really cleanly and really quickly. So Key, it has been a long time. Good to see you. What is going on? It is a total, Kasink says it, and I can't agree more, that it is an actual huge blessing that Trump lost in 2020. It didn't feel like it at the time. It definitely didn't feel like it in 21, 22, and 23. It felt awful. Even this last year, 24. But now that he's in, and he's got this team behind him, and the timing, the way the economy's lining up, the way it's all lining up, it just feels, you could not have written a better script, which I do. I believe it's just divinely scripted. I really do. I believe there's definitely something bigger than just Trump out there, bigger than our system out there putting all this together, because you could not have. I've been following politics a long time. Not as long as some of you, because I'm only 41, but I've been a political nerd since my teens. And studied in college as a poli-sci major, everything. This is what I follow. It's been this and Jesus when I was a pastor. That's it. Like theology and politics are my stuff, and then sports. But I'm telling you right now, I could not have imagined it coming together better than it is. There's just. And I don't think anybody could have, when you consider who he's got on his team and what's going. So if that doesn't get you guys excited and give you hope, I don't know what will. Todd Earhart with the 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Todd. I very much appreciate the support. So, and anybody else who wants to know, Members Live will be tomorrow. It's now every Wednesday night, members only. It's just a lot of fun if you've never been a member or been in on that. It's only $3 a month. helps support the channel, so I greatly appreciate your guys' support. But also, I make sure you get way more than your value's worth. You get now pretty much guaranteed 4 lives extra a month at least, where we can go anywhere, because the members, I allow a lot more talk into whatever you guys want to cover. And then on top of that, you guys get access into the Discord group, which has been growing a lot these last couple weeks, and it's been great. Really enjoying all the new people, and that Discord is just going nonstop. There's all kinds of good stuff there, and we make relationships in there. That's where the community is really getting tight in that Discord group. We're having a lot of fun, and you know, it opens up windows too, like Country Computers, getting to know him. That's why he was a guest the other night, New Year's Eve. So stuff like that is working out. So no one's been named. Secret Service, yeah, what's he waiting for? Rum Dog, we're about to talk GTII and a little DJT. So Brett says, with all these appointments going on, I'm still thinking Trump's going to appoint Gavin Newsom king douchebag. That would be epic. Mario says Ellen DeGeneres is back. I actually saw a picture of her. It looked very strange if it was her. So the flooding of her farm. So please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it, guys. Okay. Let's get to the stocks I want to talk about. So we got 2 things to cover. And real quick, did I miss anything? Oh, I wanted to share this real quick too. Just more proof that the economy is going real bad coming up with Trump. So mortgage demand's collapsing. So just really share this real quick. But demand index fallen to lowest since February 2024, 3rd lowest in nearly 30 years. Index fallen whopping 63%. So housing is about to get really rough, just so you guys know. Okay, let's talk DJT real quick, because this will only take a minute, and then we're going to jump onto this GTII merger, and then I'm going to call it a night. So DJT, guys, got crushed today. There's, you know, after yesterday running up to almost 43, today gets crushed down to under 40. You know what? Whatever. It's still significantly up since Sunday, or since last Friday, I should say. This is exactly what I saw a few people saying was going to happen. Pull back before the run up into the inauguration. I am not worried. I know a lot of people are taking this opportunity, this pullback, to buy in more. No news did this, nothing. The big news is Trump's inauguration, and with the confirmation hearings going well, you better believe that's even more bullish for DJT. So, listen, I'm telling you guys right now, this is not financial advice, but this is by far the stock I felt more confident about this doing something over the next few weeks and maybe even months than I've ever felt about a stock. That's not saying much, because obviously AMC I was in did terrible. GTII, you know, there's stuff, bad stuff's happened on stocks I felt good about, but this has not disappointed. Trump hasn't disappointed, and to me, this is just, I'm not saying I'll go to 1,000, anything like that, but it's definitely a moneymaker. And you can swing trade it too if you just want to do that. You make a lot of money swing trading it, because it really just moves with Trump and Trump news. And since Trump has announced he's going to make all his presidential announcements on Truth Social, like big announcements go to Truth First, that single-handedly makes Truth Social an incredibly valuable company for the remainder of Trump's presidency. So Truth Social is not going anywhere during Trump's presidency. So they're not going to be able to kill it, no matter what they do. And you guys know all the other reasons I'm excited about it. So if it drops, in my opinion, I'm just going to scoop up more, because we are definitely going to make money on this, in my opinion. I just can't see any way not. But that's not financial advice. It's just what I'm seeing. It's my opinion. You guys do your own work. Got to cover my ass here. CYA, cover your ass. All right. US1, if you want to get into the Discord, there's a community post. If you go to my page on YouTube and go over where it says community, there's members posts, members only posts in there. And in there you'll find the link to the Discord group. All right, that's how you can get in. Damage Sean says, there's a providence that protects idiots, drunkards, children, and the United States of America. What a great quote. Otto von Bismarck. I love it. I think DJT, a lot of it was taking profits today. I agree with that. Yeah. Sergio says DJT earnings expected for 2024 fourth quarter, February 4th. Trump had 6.2 followers before election, now at 8.5. Wow, that's huge. Aaron Foxhunter, back to membership. Welcome, buddy. It's good to see you. Glad you're in. Aaron's a good, one of my favorites from back in the day, and he's an old Cali native, and I actually know his wife from high school. How weird is that? So, Aaron, it's good to have you back, man. Aaron, you should jump in the Discord for sure. Alan Krentz says BlackRock buying property of fires in California. That is absolutely true. Michael Anthony says DJT he could see dropping to 31 or 30. It's possible. I don't think it'll go that far, but it's possible. DJT almost never goes as far down as people expect it to, but it is possible. How would a market crash affect DJT shares? That's a wonderful question, Speak Freely. Here's the answer. A market crash could have a couple things happen to it, or it could cause a couple things to happen to it, I should say. If it is as heavily shorted, naked shorted as I believe it is, and most people believe it is who've been following the stock, a collapse will force margin calls, which will force people to buy in as the market's collapsing and liquidity is drying up, which means as everything else is collapsing, heavily shorted stocks, especially naked short stocks, should spring up. DJT I'm especially bullish on because the commander-in-chief, it's his company. And because his CEO, Devin Nunes, who's no dummy, House Intelligence chairman, by the way, when he was in the House of Representatives, brilliant man, seen all the info on behind the scenes, knows what it's like to see top secret behind the scenes bad guy stuff. He's out there calling naked shorts out, market manipulation. He is calling it. So for every reason, I mean, this is the most obviously, if all this stuff is real, if it's all real, which I definitely believe it is, there's never been a stock that's more obvious than DJT. The only reason it's not trending like GameStop is because of all the Trump hate. That's the only reason. DJT is a better setup than GameStop. It's just got way. I believe the shareholders in DJT are even more loyal and more educated than GameStop holders. So I just believe that if the market crashes, DJT could be a crazy monster. But at the same time, the market's changed a lot since GameStop, so they have ways probably of keeping it down from breaking out to what it should do, which is, who knows, ungodly numbers. But at the same time, it means there's still a lot of potential there for good runs. Yeah, I don't even cover AMC anymore, Michael Anthony. Adam Aaron's just ruined that too much. So Aaron with 5 more memberships. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the gift. Beautiful. More people getting in. Jeff Hoffler, Billy Koopa, Tom Teague, Bob Wren, El Martinez. Welcome, guys. Please all go to the community tab. Join the Discord. We'd love to have you there. Craig Donor says DJT got crushed because I bought some. I always hate that. Doesn't it feel that way? For sure. So, okay. So the last thing I want to talk about today is, and I don't have anything to pull up on this because this is more just what's been out there, and I don't have everything I need yet to give you guys all the details. But today it was put out on X, and I've followed this up. It's real. There's an 8K filed by GTII. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because of all the OG people here who are invested in GTII. It once was my biggest holding. I lost 95% in it, and everything else I have is still trapped because it's delisted. But GTII today came out. This 8K was released. It said it's merging with a company. There's all this stuff going on with preferred stock. And listen, I'll be completely honest with you guys. It doesn't look good to me on that end, the merger. The preferred stock thing, I don't fully understand all the details yet. I'm still working through it all. But it looks like they are taking all the power in this stock that common shareholders could have had, and it's just all going to this company. And so the one hope I've seen, and again, I got to do more research on this, is that the CEO of this company seems to be somebody who really doesn't like the manipulation of the market and brokers and all that. And so it is possible he will do something good and get it back to trading, and maybe shareholders can at least be made whole. But what it does look like, though, is that it's going to be very hard to ever see a squeeze in this. And that sucks, because at one time GTI was an incredible setup. In some ways, the best I've ever seen. So listen, I'm going to continue to do research on this. I'm going to continue to look into it, because I need people who understand these things more to get their take on it. All I've done so far is been able to read the 8K, feed it through ChatGPT, ask some things, but so I can kind of get the details of the 8K, but I don't know the company, and all that. That's more stuff I need to understand. And then also I have no idea what's happened when previous companies have done something like this. But my initial look at it was that it just doesn't look great. It does look like this will open it back up to trade again, but the question is because of how valuable the preferred stock is that they're creating to make this merger, it makes it look like it'd be very difficult for the regular stock price to go up much. But then again, I don't know, because I've never seen this kind of thing before. So I'm hopeful that maybe this isn't as bad as it looks, but at the same time, it just doesn't look good on face value. I'll just be honest, and it sucks because, I'm right there with you guys. I mean, I lost so much in AMC, and now I lost in this, and so, but yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how fast this will all go, and if it does trade again, what will happen? There's no way to know, but it's a wild thing, and it's very strange how it all went down. But the truth is we just got to see how it plays out. I can't tell you what, I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can't. So, but there's no way to know at this point. My wrinkles back? Yeah, it's because the green screen started getting lazy there. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I wanted to tell you guys more. What about the Alpine squeeze, says Ever Trumper? Here's the thing, is that what I don't know is that if this goes through, if it will, if the shorts have a way out of it, or if they're, this is what I don't understand, because there's just some really weird, it's really weird deal. It's really weird. Basically, what I understand is that there's 1,000 preferred shares being created for this deal. Of those 1,000 shares, each one is going to be valued if they cash out. So I don't remember all the stipulations, but basically the preferred shares get paid on more than or first over the common shareholders. Common shareholders will have no voting rights, which we don't have voting rights anyways. The preferred stock basically gets all the power of the entire company, everything. So basically this merger is GTI completely turning themselves over to this other company. Except for the value of GTI now, if they make any money and they cash out their shares, it's $4 million per share. So it basically makes it very difficult for there to be any value in there to grow. So it's pretty crazy. And so yeah, it'll probably lead to a reverse split, and yeah, all kinds of stuff. So listen, all I can say is that GTI turned out to be completely different than what we all hoped, and I don't know the whole story. After that squeeze, it never came back, and we had some other mini squeezes where when it was up to 3, and but the company turned on us. They turned on us, and they did it in a secret way where they just basically disappeared on us, and everything they did just stopped, and then they just left us behind and did their own thing, and then it all went to crap. And the problem is that for us is that most of that stuff that they did wasn't public or had to be declared publicly. So it wasn't like Adam Aaron where they were screwing us over in public and they had to keep lying to our faces. No, it was all behind the scenes. So it was impossible to know until it was too late. And that's what sucks. So, but ESK, you can find the 8K. Just go to the Edgar filings. You can Google it. So, but anyways, we'll have to just see what happens. But I don't count this as something exciting, except for the fact that it does open up the door for it to trade again down the road possibly. And then who knows? Maybe you'll at least make something off of it. Probably not make something off of it, but at least recoup some of your money. And maybe they do something and some of us are made whole at least. Who knows? I know like it's trading at 2 cents right now. My cost basis in GTI is 193. So that tells you how far it would have to go for me to be made whole. Yeah, so anyways, but the good news is that, if there is good news in all this, it's that by being a part of this, hopefully we all learned, I've definitely learned so much about chasing short squeezes, all that. It's just like, even when the setup is amazing, you still have to know how to trade and get profits while you're doing it. You can't just buy and hold. I've learned that. I've learned not to chase like I used to. And I've learned to find stuff that has to stay public so that, the OTC market is too dark and scary and not enough regulation on there to, if you catch one, great. But if you don't, this can happen to you. So just insane stuff, guys. But listen, over time, I believe with stuff like DJT, Finger, other smart investments in this bad economy that's about to happen, this crash that almost every smart person sees coming, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And so, if nothing else, for what it's worth, I hope all of us learned enough and are ready enough to make moves that could make up for everything. And I believe 2025 is a time of new beginnings and restoration. I really do. I believe that from a spiritual faith perspective, not just from, and I think the Trump stuff proves it, but I believe we're coming out of a long, dark season that's been going on for decades. And I think things are about to change. So, if we learn through this, then we can really take advantage going forward. But, so flim flam, that's a good rule. Ever Trevor, remember my rule, the worst rarely happens. That's very true. The worst rarely does happen. I mean, that's a scientific fact. But sometimes it does. And Hobbs, your break even's 119, yeah. So anyways, I don't think Finger CEO is playing a game with us, but I do think, we got to look at Finger and remember that they're doing what's best for their company to survive and grow first. And that means sometimes the shareholders got to wait. And I think that's what's happening with Finger. I don't think Martin Shen's a crook. I really don't. He gets on, he does these lives, he gets in front of us, he talks to us. He's not hiding. And so I don't think Shen's a crook. But what I do think is that I think their business, it seems to me anyways, that it is seriously it's taking longer for them to get running the way they want Finger to run and move as a company. And in that frustration, he's having to do things that I don't think he wanted to do originally. And that's what I think is going on with Finger. But why? What's wrong with Michael Anthony? What do you say? Yeah, I don't know anything about HES. I don't know. If I see anybody being like a shit poster, I'll stop. But yeah, Michael, we're not promoting stocks here. That's not what this channel is. If you want to talk about one every once in a while, but I don't want us throwing stocks out nonstop. Why would a new company want to merge with GTI if they're considered a dead company? There might be some value for them as far as what GTI allows them to do going forward. That's possible. So, maybe Not will come on with me. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I think Not's covering it on his own pretty well. I don't know if I need to have a full GTI episode again. So, live immediate evacuations just in from California. Really, Renee? Where? What city now are they evacuating? If you don't mind. FJP is right. Finger did raise lots of cash. It did. And I think that will be good for Finger for sure. And what Ham says on Finger is absolutely true. Is that the 150 that they bought in at is the floor for Finger. With this, it'll definitely eventually get there. So we just gotta wait, and then from there, if the company grows or if there's a short squeeze, which is still possible, especially with the economy getting more and more rickety, anything can happen with Finger. I still actually believe in Finger as a long term. I think it's still a value buy, but I'm not going to ever push it the way I used to unless something significant happens. But I still own it, and it's still my second biggest holding after DJT. Like, I like Finger still as a company. I still believe in it, and I still believe there's a big short potential there as well. But the difference is with Finger versus GTI is that I believe in a couple years I'll make good money on Finger even if there's not a short squeeze, as I believe in the company. And that's the difference. And that's where I'm going to go from now on. So painting your house blue. There you go. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. God bless y'all. Let's just head out in a prayer. And members, we'll be doing this tomorrow. So Brett says he's dumping my money into Franzia. Going to be a wave of mass consumption shortly here. I mean, if the economy dumps, you're not wrong. And maybe that'll be how Kamala gets back on her feet by being a spokeswoman. She can pay off that debt from the campaign. Anyways, all right, guys. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Bless these people, Lord. Bless this community. Thank you for them and for all you're doing, God. Protect our leaders. Thank you for how well the Hegseth hearing went today. I pray it goes that well for all Trump's nominees, that they get through easily and we can just hit the ground running in 5.5 days when he gets in. I pray these 5 days go quick and we can get to it. And just thank you, God, for all you've done for our country lately. And we just pray for more and wisdom going forward as we navigate these crazy times. And that, God, everything that people did lose from GTI, AMC, and others, I do pray that they'll all be made whole one way or the other. And give them the wisdom to know how to get there and quickly. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, love you guys. Hey, so tomorrow, Members Live. And then next week, I don't know what my week's going to look like yet because I have surgery next Wednesday. I have a hernia. It sucks, but I have to have a surgery on it next Wednesday. I don't know what the recovery is going to be like. I know it usually isn't too long, at least for my mind and stuff, but as far as like actually getting to sit down and talk to you guys, it might be a couple days. So next week, the second half of the week, we'll play it by ear. It is it's in and out surgery. I'll be home. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, if you guys wouldn't mind just praying for me through that, that it all goes well. And, it's never fun to be cut open. So anyways, but no, you can't have it rubbed out. Nice try, Ben, man. But anyways, love you guys. Look forward to seeing the members tomorrow. I'll be back with a regular show Thursday night. And then next week's going to be a lot of fun with the inauguration on Monday. So got lots to cover. And I will see you guys. Members, I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody else, see you Thursday. Get in that Discord if you haven't already. All right. It's a lot of fun. So God bless you. Have a great night. And I'll see you.